Happy birthday to us. This is the Lipedema Patient Roundtable, and this is our 1-year anniversary, and it is a very special night. Hello, everyone out there. We are so glad you joined us. We are giving you jazz hands. We're giving you lots of love. And like we do every month, we hope that you leave after the end of this hour feeling seen, heard, encouraged, and that you leave with an extra dose of hope. My name is Brenda Viola, and I work for Lymphopress. And before we went live, I was saying to everyone, I feel just a little bit misty tonight. Before I introduce everyone, I just want to say that it's been an amazing year. And I started this journey out because I knew that our company had a product that treated lipedema, but I didn't want to market it unless I was sure it could really help people. So with fear and trepidation, I reached out and I started looking on social media, and I saw people like Patty Cornude or Cheryl Scholich or Pale Ginger Pear. Oh my gosh, I remember first reaching out to Patty Cornude and saying, would you mind telling me your story? And that began a journey of story after story after story. It soon, yes, has been about Lymphopress, but it's also been about you amazing women. And I honor you for your journey, your willingness to put yourself out there. Social media can be so painful, and yet you put yourselves out there because you want to be beacons of light for people. I just can't thank you enough. And then I remember so Patty said, you got to meet Pale Ginger Pear. You got to talk to her. And I'm like, oh, but she's a star. She's not going to want to talk to me. And then I remember within minutes, you returned my email. And one by one, we now have this beautiful roundtable. And I honor and love you and support you. And we've already got people in chat saying things. So while I do I know, and everybody's all about the hair. Cara, your hair is already stealing the show. My goodness. But we've got Marsha Witt, and we've got Heather Zunker out there, and Jeannie Proctor and Carol Moody. Thank you. Hi from St. Louis. Hi, all of you. Let me introduce our special guest first. I met her as Plus Size and Proud on Instagram, and her name is Jennifer Williams, one of the loveliest people you will ever talk to. Please look up her interview on the Lipedema channel. You also are a healthcare professional.
I am.
And you are a Lymphopress user, and you've got so much to add to the conversation. I just really wanted you to be here for our 1-year anniversary. So Jen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
It's great to have you. It's great to have you. And then she has been a guest in the past, and we are so glad to welcome her back for our 1-year anniversary. So many followers, and she has such a heart. Curvy girl Beth Rylersdam, it's so nice to have you with us tonight.
So nice to be here, and can't believe that this is the 1 year. I was going back through, June Lipedema Month last year, and I was like, wait a minute, did this really just start? Like, it's amazing.
I know it's only been a year, and yet I can't imagine my life without any of these people or any of you out there, because I see Nita Cluis is out there. Nita, you're amazing, and you're such a supporter of the lipedema community. We love you. Thank you for being here. Kelly Maynard. Oh my gosh, Kelly Maynard is going to be with us next month, live and in person. I will just say this. She's had her Lymphopress Optimal Plus for 3 weeks and has reduced by 18 inches. What? Wow. It's outrageously crazy, and we love good news. But I want to introduce other people to you. Susie Boshoff, you are lipedema.living, and we always love the sass and fun and insights that you bring to the table. We also have Cheryl Scholich. Cheryl's video I did with her, gosh, I think you were like my 3rd or 4th interview, has had so many more views than any video I have done, and I've done about 50 in the last year. Yes, girl, you're number 1. So yes, we applaud you, and that's why, because you have a lot of wisdom to share. The Lippy Butterfly always has sage wisdom and insights, and brings such spirit to our roundtable. Lippy Butterfly, Angelique Charles, we're so glad you're here. Of course, she is the one, the only Pale Ginger Pear, who we love, the girl with the hair, always brings also great wisdom and insights to the table. My buddy, My sister. I love you, Patty Cornu at Lipedema Fitness. It started with you, and because of you, this is where we are now. Mwah. And she's wearing a party hat. Now, we all tried to celebrate in our own special way. Some people, like Patty's got super cool glasses. Susie always has cool glasses. Ginger's got the hair, but Linda Ann Kahn is wearing a party hat because it's our party tonight. It's our celebration. So Linda Ann, thank you so much. Linda Ann Kahn, I want to actually start with you. Did I forget? I didn't forget anyone. We're rolling right along here. Big deal in the last month. The standard of care for lipedema in the United States was published. This is significant. If you don't know what we're talking about, we have it posted right on the Lymphopress website, www.lymphopress.com. You can go to the lipedema page. It's the third paragraph. You can download it. What I love is the authors made it free, so anybody can access it, download it. And I interviewed Dr. Karen Herbst, and she said, we encourage people to pull it out, download it, and walk it into their doctor's offices. So we applaud you, Linda Ann Kahn, and all of the authors. This is significant. Why don't you tell our audience the significance of the standard of care?
Well, this, of course, Dr. Karen Herbst was our fearless leader, but there were 21 people, surgeons, researchers, physicians, vascular surgeons, and therapists. And we got together before the FDRS, spent the entire day, and then half of the day before the second one, and then another 2 years going over all of this. And then the vascular surgeons met together, the therapists met, we had lots of meetings, then we all came together, and then we changed it, and it really, really is a consensus document. It's everybody agreeing on this, that this is the standard of care. And what is so fantastic, one of my patients has already taken this to her doctor. See, this is what is being prescribed. This is what we need to do. This is lipedema. So that was our goal, so that we could help our patients be recognized, which is why we're all here, and that the physicians would understand more about it. And we paid so that it would be open access.
That was so generous and so appreciated. And it is spreading like wildfire, and it is having an impact. It has been a great year. I want to know from the panelists, you are patients. What does having this standard of care mean to you? Does anybody want to weigh in on that? Go ahead, Jennifer.
I think the fact that it's open to everybody now, we have all access to it. And I know when I first went to my doctor after I was diagnosed, I took the card from the Lipedema Foundation and took it to him in a pamphlet explaining it. And that was the first time he had ever heard of it. So I think that is super important. And thank you so much for that. It's going to change so many lives, and so many doctors are going to finally open their eyes because they have something solid to view and go by. So that's great. Thank you so much.
Yes, we applaud it. Anybody else want to weigh in on what it means to you personally? Go ahead, Cheryl.
Sure. Well, I think it's just hugely important for a couple of reasons, because first of all, since you can bring it to your doctor, as Dr. Herbst suggested, it's going to raise awareness, and hashtag let's make lipedema a household name, right? So we want to raise that awareness. But secondly, it's a wonderful template that you can take home for yourself and start doing things at home. Even if you can't find that doctor, that physician that can diagnose you, you can start on your own, at your own home, and start following some of the guidelines in there.
Excellent. I absolutely agree. And I wonder, does anybody, when they looked at it, were there any surprises in there? Did anything surprise you, Linda Ann Kahn, as you were putting it together? First of all, I was thrilled that there are a few paragraphs in there about pneumatic compression. It is really, and many of you at this table have experienced it, and I am, it's near and dear to my heart, of course, being a representative of Lymphopress. I want to remind everyone that if you go to lymphopress.com, you can see the standard of care posted there, and Susie Boshoff just put it in the chat for everyone as well. It's really important. Were there any surprises for you, Linda Ann?
So we had a word count. So we had to get rid of and shorten so much amazing information. So Dr. Herbst, Dr. Eicher, Chuck Ehrlich, and I, we meet every Monday night discussing all kinds of things. Now what we're going to do is we're going to expand upon it and add extra things. Like there was an amazing section on pelvic floor, which is really important, that will go back in. So we're thrilled. I mean, I'm tired of reading it because, you know, we have to keep changing and whatever. But yeah, so you'll see the expanded version. We have a new website, Lipedema. I think it's lipedema.org, and it's going to all be on there, and lots and lots of details. So there's more to come. We're not finished.
I love that, and I think that that would be a great resource. Jennifer Lyons just questioned and said, "We've been waiting for years for this. Could we create a checklist to make it easier for doctors with a busy practice to treat us?" And actually, every point is one of the checklists here. So it's basically, you've done the work. It's here. And any doctor can read it and see where the treatment needs to be. And it also helps with the diagnosis. The photos are in there as well. So it's really a powerful thing. Some of the folks already have said that they have brought it into their doctors. Francine Schwartz said she emailed it to her primary care physician. And finally, lipedema was added to her chart. So this is major. I know, like, we want to clap. I should have sound effects, applause, kind of stuff. And then concurrently, did you all see that in the state of North Carolina, a bill was introduced?
Yeah.
Does anybody have direct knowledge about this that could speak to it? Because I'm wondering if Nita Cluis out there had something to do with getting this. I saw it first on her social media account. Wow, Brenda, you're really losing it when you can't think of social media account. I'm just wondering. So anyhow, having a bill introduced is huge because it may have started with one state, but then that means that we can all get behind something, notify our elected officials, and create a groundswell of support for this condition. How many of you at this table, and I want to ask you, have known you had lipedema and walked into a doctor and you were looked at like, what the heck is lipedema? Yeah. So we want to change that. That's what Lipedema Awareness Month is all about. We want to change that deer in the headlights look, and we want to make sure that instead of it being misdiagnosed or underdiagnosed, you can get the help that you need. So I see a lot of nodding. I want to go to a post, though, that you had created, Angelique, and you were talking about how mobility for you was your biggest challenge, and you found a way to surmount that at an unlikely place.
Well, right now it is 112 degrees in Arizona, and my exercise routine had been just completely shot. Part of what I had been doing before was playing basketball in my front driveway area and taking walks down the street. But if you look at Dr. Herbst's symposium that she did for Lymphopress yesterday, she says, if it's stressful, don't even do it. So it got to the point where it wasn't even worth it for me to exercise anymore, but my swelling was increasing. I needed to get active again. So we just started looking for places that were air conditioned in our area to do activities. And one of them that came up, oddly enough, was Peter Piper Pizza. And they have some salad buffet in the afternoon for like $8, but also they have a video arcade. So yesterday I went to the video arcade and played basketball with their hoops that were there. And we also played air hockey and some other games, but literally I broke a sweat inside of Peter Piper Pizza yesterday afternoon, and I felt good. I was happy about my activities, and I was actually moving lymph around, and I knew that I was moving lymph around for a change. So my thing was just to do whatever it is, as long as it's fun for you and as long as you're remaining active, because we all know that immobility is knocking on our doors. For me, it was something that I just came out of. So anything that you can do to stay active is super important, and anything that you can do to beat the heat, especially for us lippy ladies, is also super important.
I met a friend, I know a new friend of yours, Lippy Butterfly, Angela Jones, who is
Yes.
on our lymphedema patient roundtable. She also is in Arizona, and you two are going to be besties. I just know it. She just weighed in and said that the bill that I had referenced is for the Legislative Research Commission to study issues that speak to and surround lipedema and its impact on women in North Carolina. Thank you for that information, Angela Jones. We appreciate you. And what great news. That's a breakthrough for the lipedema community. Okay, so what Angelique was just saying about moving and doing something fun. Now, I would only break one thing. I wouldn't break a sweat at Peeper Piper Pizza. I would break my diet there because I'm a pizza lover. But who else has done unique things to stay mobile and active, especially when the heat is on? I often see photos of you exercising, Beth, and of course you're all about it, Ms. Lipedema Fitness. So you always say, do what feels good and what's fun.
Yeah, I mean, movement is key for sure. And yes, I do a weekly live workout on my Instagram. And really for the past 3 months, it has been just so incredibly limited because I have had so many different ailments that have come into play. And today was really the first time that I've actually done kind of like a little bit more of a whole body kind of thing. But I have a friend who is not a lipedema lady, but before lockdown, she walked 10,000 steps every day and made sure that she had that as part of her daily routine, not just walking about, but planned exercise. And so we were talking toward the end of, about a year in, we're talking, and I said, oh, well, what did you do about your exercise? And she's like, well, I got my 10,000 steps every day. And she lives in a 2-bedroom apartment with her 2 sons and her husband. And I was like, you did what? And I was like, you went out every day? Because I thought she was being extremely cautious staying home. And she said that she did daily 10,000 steps purposefully walking in place in her apartment. And I was like, and there you have it. Because at no point did that ever dawn on me that I could have done the same thing. I just was too busy complaining that I couldn't go to the gym and do my weights and do what I normally did. But it never dawned on me. So the point is, there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
And then I realized today that I used to feel very self-conscious about going to the gym or even being out walking. When I was at my biggest and I would actually go to a gym, a personal training gym, I sometimes would walk there and sometimes people would clap as I was walking along the way. And I would be like, what is this about? Like, what are you clapping for? That's ridiculous. But I remembered that I would get embarrassed and thought, this is a great idea for people who are not there and who want to get moving, but are like, I'm not going to a park. I'm not going to a gym. Like, seriously, stand at your couch, watch your show and do it, and maybe you do it just during the commercial. Maybe that's, what a great idea.
I think that's all good stuff. And you've often said, Patty, baby steps.
Exactly.
Don't try to do so much and get overwhelmed and then get discouraged and quit. So I love your point, Curvy Girl Beth. And you've got your Lipedema Fitness triathlon bottle right behind you there, Patty. Can you hold that up for all of us? Because we support what you're doing there and we applaud your efforts. You have been such an inspiration to the lipedema community as well, to get people moving. And that was your big thing, was mobility. Now we have 5 prize packages to give away tonight. I love prizes. Like whenever I'm at the makeup counter and they say gift with purchase, I think it's prizes. So I whip out my credit card just to get the free gift, which is a little counterintuitive because, you're really paying for the gift, but this is free. All you have to do, Pale Ginger Pear, is pick a number between 7 and 120, and that will be our first winner of the evening.
22.
That is my favorite number. And number 22 is Bob. Bob, we have a gentleman out there, or maybe it's friend of Bob Jakuzewski. Bob Jakazewski is the first winner of our Lymphopress prize package, which there's going to be a total of 5 winners tonight. And what is included are a lot of goodies. You're not going to get rich, you can't buy a car with it, but there will be like a $10 gift card from Lymphopress, a Lymphopress t-shirt. Cheryl, tell us what you put in the prize package for everybody.
Sure. One of my big things is that a number of lipedema ladies have issues with blood pressure machines. They often will press too hard on the arm and cause your blood pressure to spike very, very quickly, like so quickly that the machine recognizes it's really, really high. And the person looks at you like you're about to die. I mean, this has happened to me many, many times. So I have little cards, medical alert cards in the pack so that you can have that with you when you go to the doctor, just to make them aware that it's a possibility.
That is really generous of you. And thank you for contributing that. And it is branded Lipedema Diva, so that you know who put the gift in there. I have to tell you also, I did a little personal contribution. I wrote a book in 2020, and I put a copy of the Public Servant Survival Guide in every gift package. Mm-hmm. Even if you're not a public servant, it's all to encourage you and help you take care of you and be in love with the most important person in your life, you. And that's what these roundtables are often all about too. Self-love, self-appreciation, taking care of you, owning who you are and embracing. One of my favorite lines in the book is, you're flawed, but you're awesome. You're flawsome. So embrace your flawsomeness. I'm going to get t-shirts or mugs or something made up like that. So, all right. So what else has been going on in the last month, everyone? Patty, you wanted to talk about community.
Yeah. I think I was trying to think about what we've done this past year, and I just think it's amazing the number of interviews that you've done and the reaching out that you do through Lymphopress, and Linda and Dr. Herbst and Dr. Lindy and Dr. Jamie and all these doctors who obviously keep moving forward. It doesn't ever seem to get stagnant. It's not like we learn something. When I first was diagnosed, it was the fat disorder, and now it's the loose connective tissue disorder, and it's always evolving. And, vendors and doctors helping us along, and the individual groups and being connected with these other ladies here all year has just meant the world to me. And I just love the way that we all come together. And it just seems like there's this lipedema community that was this huge bonus of my diagnosis. And it just kind of hit me the past week. And I just think it's wonderful. And I just think we need to keep remembering that when we're not in a good place, that there is hope. There's all this stuff that's going on that we don't even see on a regular basis.
Yeah. Yeah, it's such a good point. Does anybody else want to speak about community? Because I could go on and on and on about it. Go ahead, Susie.
I do. I just want to say that the one thing for me, and I don't know if you wanted to do this later, but for this last year, connecting up with such a big community. Yes, we have the Facebook groups and all of that too, but this has been so much bigger than that. And it really has, for me and for many people that have commented after all of these, it is that feeling of having other people that have your back, knowing that you have people that you can reach out to. We have all gone through some pretty intense struggles over the last year. And there's something very amazing about knowing that you have a group that will back you up, and that you have people that you can reach out to and that they understand. And sometimes it's as simple as somebody even just posting something that resonates with you, and then you commenting on that, and that engagement and that connection. And I just think it's beautiful. And I think that it's something that's really important with lipedema specifically.
Yeah, it is amazing because each of you have very distinct and unique followings and specific focuses. And yet we come together once a month like this, and it's like this melting pot of love. You said it best, Angelique, last month when we were so here's what happens. After the show, we all get together again, and because we never get to see each other or talk to each other, so we visit usually. And Angelique's like, we're just all about love. We have a no tolerance policy for bullying or high school shenanigans or mean girls or boys. We don't do that here. And there's great respect. Look, I understand that Lymphopress isn't the only product that people can use. There's many tools in your toolbox. And I don't mind us talking about Susie's gummy bears or the things that, Linda Ann Kahn is involved with, or what's going on there. You all have your unique ventures, and we respect that. And it's a loving, supportive community. And you know what? We have been through a heck of a lot. Carol Moody says it. The lipedema community has been a godsend, especially during the pandemic. And you know what? We hope to keep it going long. When we're all laughing about, gosh, remember those days when we couldn't get together and couldn't have connection. I look forward to being in a live room. My dream, I hope in a few years we can have a lipedema conference where we all get together and just celebrate. We celebrate the advances made. All right, let's take out the crystal ball for a minute, everybody. And I want you to think about the future. What do you wish for the cause of lipedema and other people just like you, or maybe even yourself? What's in your crystal ball? Who wants to answer first? All right, Jen, go for it.
My crystal ball is that insurance will cover the necessary surgeries for all of us women who want to make sure that our mobility is the most important. I mean, that's the most important thing right now for all of us is mobility and staying active. And I think one of the biggest fears in our head, because it's difficult some days to move around and our pain just gets unbearable. So as this standard of care moves forward, I pray and hope that insurance companies will start to recognize and covering it just like they cover diabetes,
Yes. Amen. This is seltzer. I'll drink to that. Is anybody else saluting and support? Yes, I am all about that. I think that we could say universally, that is a great wish in the crystal ball. I'm interested to ask, of course, you're mid-drink now, swallow Linda Ann Kahn. As a medical professional, what is in your crystal ball? What's your wish list?
My crystal ball is that many, many doctors are educated and understand this condition, and that I don't have people crying on my table and telling me that they spent the last 30 or 40 or 50 years knowing there was something wrong, but not knowing what it was and being told, lose weight, do this, do that. So that's my crystal ball, and that's really the goal in the standard of care, and that's got to happen. And thank you all for all the awareness that you have, because it's heartbreaking and there's hope. And the other thing about community is there is a community there as well as all of you guys, but of doctors and practitioners who are very, very dedicated. Just even start with the 20 people on the standard of care.
Totally.
There are those practitioners and doctors. So don't give hope and just keep looking for the right people.
Yes. And more. I just interviewed a doctor in Orlando who is starting a lipedema practice, and he's doing it in collaboration with lymphedema therapists and a whole collaborative thing. And Dr. Bates, Orlando Health, really exciting to see more and more people saying this is a real need. And I said, why? He said, I saw these women and I just wanted to help. Oh, if we can just get more and more people like that, that is amazing. Cheryl Scholich, I want to know what's in your crystal ball, and then I want you to pick a number between 7 and 120.
Okay. Well, first of all, with the crystal ball, I think it would be wonderful if we get to a point where doctors aren't relying on BMI and understand that that's a number and really has no place in anything, especially for women with lipedema. So that's my hope.
Excellent.
Okay, so a number, let's see. Let's go with 78.
78 is Carla Conrad. Carla Conrad is our second winner of a Lymphopress prize pack. We still have 3 more. You don't have to, you have to have registered to be eligible. So Carla Conrad is, and that's in your name. I'm not familiar with that name. So I'm excited to be able to send you something. I'm going to send each of you who win an email tomorrow and get your home addresses so we can get your prize packs to you. Do you have a crystal ball, Angelique?
I do. If something was in my crystal ball, it would be closer to what Cheryl Scholich is promoting right now, which is lipedema as a household name, so that we are actually targeting children before their conditions become grave, like mine did in my 20s. My crystal ball would be that parents know what different fat formations and different developments of the flesh look like, and they're able to advocate for their children early on.
Well said. Beautifully said. Interesting how all, I hope that we can make this sort of a vision board. I'm going to take all of these comments and make a vision board and keep it in front of us so that, you know, someday we can say, we did this and we got that and this happened. Linda, go for it.
I just want to say something about the children. I'm actually encouraging my patients who are worried about their daughters. And I referred a patient to Dr. Herbst because she has lipedema, but I felt she had Durkheim's. And she text messaged me today. She does have Durkheim's and her daughter has lipedema. She's 16.
Wow. So what a blessing to get the diagnosis early on so that you can take action and help. Pale Ginger Pear, do you have a crystal ball?
Mine's kind of along the same theme. I want the fat phobia aspect to be gone. It's not something we did to ourselves. It's not something that we continue to do once it's started. It's just how our bodies react. And it just needs to be, you know, wiped out, that it's something we did to ourselves. And it just, you know, needs to be looked at as a condition and not like, oh, you're fat and lazy, or you overate, or you weren't active. And
yeah, Dr. Bates was saying when I interviewed him, he said, you know, I would see these women and they were eating right. They were exercising regularly and nothing was changing for them. And he said, I had to do something. And that's really so true. And I appreciate you bringing up that point, PGP. That's really good. You know, I do have to, because I'm so excited about the fact that Jennifer, you love your Lymphopress. And I met you on social media and I reached out to you and you were using another product, and we never, ever talk negatively about another competitive device. But your problem was it wasn't easy to use. So then you got a Lymphopress. What happened?
Game changer, completely. So different, so much easier to use. With the other product, it was difficult to put on myself when I was home alone. Just so many different connections. The Lymphopress was just one piece, just slide it on, zip it up, and really encouraged me to use it more than I did the other product because it was easier. When I was home alone, I could use it. I could use it if somebody was home. I didn't need help putting it on, taking it off. So it was a complete game changer for me, and really makes a difference, especially at the end of the day when I come home after work, being on my feet all day.
I hear you. And I love that testimony. Go ahead, Pale Ginger Pear.
I just want to add that and say like a little thank you, but Jen has been my nurse per se for each of my surgeries when I travel out to California, and my journey would not have gotten like where it's at without her help. And I can't wait for August.
She's been a great support back. You know, it's a great friendship, and I'm happy to help her with anything she needs. And I reached out to other lipedema women also, since I'm in the LA area. If I'm able to help, I'm able to help.
Well, we love your heart and it shines through. And that's another reason why we wanted to invite you as well for this special celebration tonight. And, you know, time is a wasting here. So let me get to another question. Anonymous attendee, we're so glad you're with us tonight, whoever you are. This anonymous attendee wanted to know where in Canada and the United States there are expert lymphedema surgeons who can remove lymph fat. I think you may be referring to lipedema, because that's what this roundtable is all about. And it's the lipedema fat that is extracted in surgery. And you can go to the Lipedema Project website. You can plug in your zip code, your state, and it will populate a whole list of different practitioners, whether they are surgeons or whether they are lymphedema therapists or lipedema practitioners that can help you out. She also asks, what kind of Velcro bandages does your group recommend to reduce inflammation in the thighs? And we got a hand from PGP. Go for it.
There's also a Facebook group called like the Global Lipedema something. I don't remember exactly, but there's a global one. So there's doctors in all different countries listed on it. I used the Circade from Medi, like wraps, the elastic and Velcro wraps for post-op on my thighs to help with the swelling and reduction. And they're a little bit of a struggle to keep up, honestly. Like if you're up walking around with them, as they reduce, they want to slide down. I actually like rigged up suspenders to them to keep them up. But
hey, whatever works, right?
Yeah.
Does anybody want to speak to this inflammation in the thighs and how they address it? Personally?
I can talk about that a little bit. I have like a lot of my issue going on in my thighs, and I really struggle with my compression. Like any slight movement moves it out of place, and most compression tights don't actually go up to my size or fit my girth of hips. So what I've been doing a lot more of is the vibration and the MLD and the nutrition and things like that. There are also other ways of getting compression though, when your thighs aren't really acting accordingly. Sometimes you can rig up a pillowcase or a long sheet if you have to, but I know that everybody's thighs do not always shape the same way. It's a matter of having your mind think of how you can get your thigh to buckle in a little bit more. I know that Patty also uses something that I am looking forward to hopefully soon, which is water aerobics. Water aerobics also gives you a lot of good compression while you're doing your exercises.
Go
ahead.
I want to say something about the water thing. So my daughter, Amber, who also blogs with me, she has lipedema as well. She's like 7 months pregnant now, and we're in Florida. And she, after a full day's work, is so swollen and it's so uncomfortable. So she comes over. I have a spa that's unheated. So it's like an oversized spa, but not as big as a pool at all. But it allows her to get at least 3 feet in the water. And that compression, I don't know if all the ladies know this, but it's super important. When you are 3 feet in water, it's actually twice the compression of your medical grade hardcore compression in terms of the actual pressure on your body. So just even standing in place and moving, the reduction is huge. So that's been for her a godsend. Like she literally gets off work early, comes here, stomps around, and the difference is night and day. I just really, if you can get in water, do it.
And I love that you made that point about the higher pressures, because there had been some questions about, you know, using the higher pressures being possibly a negative. And while certainly listen to whatever your doctor says, for instance, the Lymphopress can go up to 68, it can go way high, and that is very effective in breaking up the fibrosis. So if it's fine to be in water at that kind of pressures, why would anybody think that higher pressures are a negative? I realize, listen to your doctor. Go ahead, Jen.
I just want to add to the water thing for anybody that doesn't have access to a pool. I recently have been using, there's a website called swimply.com that you type in your zip code and it'll bring up pools in your local area that you can rent for an hour at a time. And you can just go use the pool either yourself, you know, if it's just a swim, or sit in the water. So that would be great for anyone that doesn't have access to a pool.
Wait, no, tell me the name of that website again.
It's Swimply, SWIMPLY.com. And it's also an app that's attached to that.
That is really good information. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, it's
awesome.
Wonderful.
Fantastic. So we need to pick another number. Susie Boshoff, pick us a number between 7 and 120.
Okay, number 46.
Why'd you pick number 46?
Because I like it.
Oh, there you go. Why? Because she likes it. Michelle Messier. Michelle, we have been going back and forth with Michelle. She is a friend of Lymphopress, and we are a friend of hers. And guess what? You're getting a prize package. So woohoo! It is your lucky night. I think I remember emailing her and saying, you know, while you're waiting to get your Lymphopress, you might want to join us for one of our roundtable discussions. And here she is. So you are a winner, Michelle. I will be reaching out to you to get your home address so you can get the prize package. So very cool stuff. We have 2 more prize packages to give away. Does anybody else have any cool resources like Jennifer just mentioned that I never heard of? I never heard of Swimply. Has anybody else at this table heard of Swimply before? Good. So see, look at you, Jennifer.
Jen just told me.
Totally cool. I love that stuff.
Can I give a tip about the swimming, about getting in the water, that just, you know,
Yes.
what Susie was saying about being in the 3 feet, blah, blah, blah. So basically, when I saw Dr. Herbst last, she had mentioned, I said, how long is really the right amount of time to be in the water? And she said, basically, the procedure should be you go to the bathroom to empty your bladder before you go in. And then you move about however you're going to do that in the water until you need to use the restroom again. And that was her recommendation on time. And so for, you know, one person that could be 5 minutes, for another person it could be 30 minutes, you know, whatever. It's but that's the best way to kind of figure it out for yourself, was her suggestion.
Great tip. Speaking of Dr. Herbst, I hope that you discover this amazing webinar she did recently called Mind, Body, and the Matrix. She said it was one of the most challenging presentations she's ever put together, which, you know, Dr. Herbst, you know, we say her name in hushed tones. We think she's amazing. So if she said it was challenging to put together, it's really interesting stuff. She talked a little bit, and I want to throw this out to the group, about how sensitive, and you know what I'm talking about, right, Linda and Khan? That women with lipedema tend to also be very sensitive individuals, which can, you know, be your superpower, or it can work against you, with a great number facing and challenged with depression. So, you know, and I was looking at the list of things you can sort of test yourself. Does anybody here at this table consider themselves to be in that category of very sensitive? Yeah.
Sure.
I think that's what makes, and I said to her, I think that's what makes this group of people so amazing. Hey, by the way, if you're out there tonight and you are struggling with any kind of depression, please reach out and get help. Seek community, seek support. It is not because there is something fundamentally wrong with you. Likely, you are quite a sensitive person. You take things on, you feel things deeply, and you're faced with this challenge of lipedema, which is no joke. So we want you to know that you are not alone. We see you, we support you, and we don't want you to ever feel alone. So how do you battle? How do you deal with the sensitivity? Does anybody want to speak to that? Go ahead, Angelique, but you need, yeah, go for it.
I absolutely loved what Karen Herbst said in that symposium. I felt honestly like she was talking to me at that point of it. It's like about 2 minutes towards the end of it. And honestly, it resonated with something in me there, where she was saying that you're super sensitive to the feelings of others. And for that reason, you have to be very diligent on giving your own self mantras. And I had jotted down the one that she said. It was Hawaiian, Oponomo. And she said it means, I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And that is something that I honestly want to take with me, is that ability to forgive myself and love myself. And she also said to end it with, and it is done. And to let that thing be over with and move on and to continue on with victory. And I honestly, I love Dr. Herbst in that moment, just for giving us that inspiration to understand that it's not something that's in you. There's not something that's messed up in you or in your mind. Part of it is something that's going on in your body. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself for the failures that didn't actually pan out the way that they were supposed to pan out. But also love yourself enough to continue on.
You said that as powerfully as we heard that live. And I just thought what was so beautiful about what she did is she married science with this spiritual component. And it was wrapped up in a beautiful bow. Linda, if you nod anymore, your head's going to pop off. So why don't you just jump on in there?
Well, she totally connected the body and the mind, the extracellular matrix and this mind, because we are all connected. It is body, mind, spirit. So she totally did. And that's what it's all about. And the sensitivity and the tissue and the head, it's just wonderful. There's one thing I'm going to tell her that she didn't talk about, and that was aromatherapy, because I work with the oils a lot to help people with that stress, with that sensitivity. So I'm going to talk to Dr. Herbst, but that was one of her most brilliant talks. It was beautiful, just beautiful.
It was. We were so honored to sponsor that and host her. And if you missed it, it is living on the lymphopress.com website. Just go to Lipedema. It's under there. Some of you have asked about the standard of care. Go to chat, or you can go to the Lymphopress website. It's posted right there. Blessings are that it's not hard to find. It is everywhere, and people are walking in with it, and lipedema is going to become a household name. I just know it. Hey, Lippy Butterfly, you need to pick a number.
Well, since I'm the last one to join the roundtable, I'm going to pick something later on in the numbers, like maybe 120.
120 is our... That is so cool. And it's it's Michelle Maggio. Michelle Maggio, congratulations. You are the winner. Thanks to Lippy Butterfly picking your number. You are a winner of a Lymphopress prize pack. We still have one more to give away before the end of the show. So here it is. We've got just a little more than 10 minutes to go. I would love to talk to each of you and have you take a moment to share this past year. What's a profound thing or your biggest takeaway? What have you learned? Or what is the biggest thing that's different between where you are today and where you were a year ago? So can I start with you, Susie?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, from a lipedema standpoint, you were the first one who interviewed Dr. Herbst last year. And it was such an amazing time for me because I was trying to get an appointment and I was trying to get help. And to be able to have access to more information than we've ever been able to have access to as patients and as women struggling with lipedema, being able to watch a video and find out how we need to sort ourselves out has been remarkable for me. It was a blessing that was so unexpected, but this virtual ability to learn more that we were sort of forced into has been incredible. But I will say one thing that happened to me this year that kind of blew my mind. And I just want to say something quickly.
Oh, I love it. Go for it.
We talk about the gummy bears a little bit, like, because we started a business and there's been challenges, and it's been very parallel, in my opinion, to kind of like the journey with lipedema. Like there's times when you struggle and you think this isn't worth it. I can't get through this. I can't get past this challenge. So in each of those instances, I've kind of stepped back and went, okay, hold on a second. Let me just look at it a little bit differently. Let me see if there's a different way that I need to approach this. And what I'm finding both with myself, but also even from a business standpoint, it's a little bit mind-blowing in that I grow from each of those experiences and I become stronger, but I also come up with better solutions than what I had in the first place. And it's a little bit amazing. It applies to every area of my life. like literally. I'll say one last thing. I'm sorry. I know we only.
No, don't be sorry. I'm loving it.
But I want to say something. So my husband and I have a history. We had a successful business. We sold it. We had it for 20 years, blah, blah, blah. Okay. And I don't come from like a big, awesome background. I never finished school. Later on, I got my GED because I didn't want to be a non-high school graduate. And I aced it. And because I studied it, I'm a learner and that kind of thing. So I'm telling you this because I don't come from like a background that was like awesome necessarily or epic, and I just had to figure stuff out. So I always had this concept that I would say, find something you love to do and then figure out how to make a living at it. And I realized that that's flawed, and a lot of people actually can't necessarily do that, because some people maybe they want to be a singer but they don't know how to carry a tune, or maybe somebody wants to be an artist but they have no idea how to do it. And I realized through this gummy bear experience and even managing lipedema actually is find something you love to do, get good at it, which means you study, which means you learn about it, which means you practice, and you go through the awkwardness of not knowing what you're doing. And that includes everything from exercising. Listen to Patty's story about how she started doing push-ups on a counter. So it's like, start where you are and then keep improving and then figure out how to make a living at it. Okay, there, I'm getting off my soapbox, but anybody could actually make a ridiculous living doing that.
Love it. And you are an inspiration. And we are so glad that your journey brought you here. I often think about the analogy of the butterfly and the chrysalis. And it is the pressing against it that creates the strength in the wings. And if you don't have that resistance, if you don't have that trial, your wings won't be able to fly. So I applaud you and everyone at this table for the strength that's been developed as you face lipedema and other trials. Thank you for sharing that, Susie. We love you. Okay, Jennifer, your last year, what's the biggest thing you've learned that you would share with everyone?
I think along the lines with Susie, you know, the access to information on lipedema has gotten it's just exploded compared to when I was diagnosed in 2019, went to an FDRS conference and was searching out why my legs hurt, why my thighs were bigger than the rest of me. There really wasn't anything there. And now you type it in and it explodes with information online. And that's awesome. I'm so happy to see that. And to be able to put towards that information also is wonderful.
Thank you for using your platform to raise awareness and to encourage others. You are a shining light and we love and honor you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Curvy Girl Beth, what would be your takeaway from the year?
I think kind of this past year has been akin to a lipedema lifestyle. And that is that it has been fraught with ups and downs and curveballs and just whammies out of the blue that nobody had any idea about, but yet we persist and yet we try to move through it and continue to do so in, trying to do what's best for ourselves and recognize that, stress plays a huge part in our lives. And sometimes we have to kind of meld with it and go with it. And there are seasons and just because this has been an unbelievable season doesn't mean that the comeback can't be just as unbelievable. And you can start where you're at and just keep moving.
I love that phrase, the comeback. And I also love what you said about, and I'll paraphrase, it's different for everyone. For as many people as you see here, we have different approaches to life, different approaches to lipedema, and we respect them all. So thank you for raising that point. That's excellent. Pale Ginger Pear, tell us what your big takeaway from the year has been.
I mean, it's probably aside from the year I had my kid, it's probably been the best year of my life.
Yay.
I feel better than I have ever remember feeling. Like, this surgery journey has legit changed my life. I know I say it a lot, and I know it probably sounds like some kind of speech or something that I'm, paid to say, which is not the case at all. It legit is just honestly how I feel. My face wouldn't be able to hide it if I was lying. And I just want to get out there that there is hope, that this, like, lipedema doesn't have to be a death sentence to your social life, to your mental health, to, like, it does not have to, the diagnosis of it doesn't have to end things for you. It's like the starting point. Like, you're not crazy, you got this, we all have it. Here's what you can do.
Yeah, beautifully said. Pale Ginger Pear, thank you for being so vulnerable and open in your journey. You've taken some hits because you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Thanks for pressing forward. We love you and honor you.
Mm-hmm.
So Cheryl Scholich, what's your big takeaway from the year?
Well, I think this year, when I reflect on different stories that I've heard, it really hits me at just how different everyone's journey is, and that there's not one solution for all of us, that each of us is just so unique. Even though we all have lipedema, there are different conservative treatments that work for different people in our journey. And also, I think it's within the past year that lipedema was classified as a connective tissue disorder. And so that was a little bit of a shift in thinking. And I think that was really amazing. And one thing that really hit me in the standard of care as well was that they talked a lot about inflammation in the standard of care, which really, with our group, with the food sensitivities, we're kind of the belief that the food sensitivities may be causing a lot of that inflammation. And so that really helped to solidify a lot of stuff for me in the past year.
Yes, it's almost like, I've always said that you should have a PhD after your name. And it's sort of like the standard of care confirms so many things that you have been putting out there. And I honor you for your work, your research, the breadth of knowledge that you provide to everyone free of charge. You're amazing, Cheryl Scholich, and we honor you and love you.
Very sweet.
It's true. So, Pretty Hat, Linda Ann Kahn, one of the authors of the standard of care for lipedema, what would you say in closing?
Well, it was definitely a year of reflection, a year of challenges, struggles. I have my clinic, but I own a day spa. We almost had to close down. We were actually closed for 6 months, but I was always tenacious and I was missing my patients so much. And I think what I learned out of it was that be strong, don't give up, continue. And I think I learned even really how much I really love being with my patients. It was absolutely the worst thing for me not being with them.
Yeah.
So that's what I got out of that. Just move ahead, be strong, always work something out, but never give up.
Never give up. We love you. We feel so honored that you take time most months to join us at the roundtable. Thank you so much, Linda Ann Kahn. You're special. All right, Lippy Butterfly, go for it.
I am the last one to join the lipedema community altogether here. This makes my 1-year anniversary of even knowing that there was a community altogether. But with that being said, I also met my nutritionist, Kelly Maynard, last year at this time, who will be on next month. And what I learned throughout this year was to give myself grace. As I came in amongst these superstars, I started to feel like I didn't know what I was doing. I was so lost. But I also learned that if I was just honest about being lost, that they were here to be there for me. With that being said, the same was for me understanding lipedema. As long as I was talking about what was going on about my body in the community, there were people there who were there to answer questions, give their inspiration, and wrap their arms around me. So I would like to just encourage everyone to stay connected with the community because we're here to love you.
And we love you back, Lippy Butterfly. So I need Patty Cornute to pick a number, our final winner, and give us your parting thoughts. It's fitting that we end with you since this whole journey started with you.
I picked number 11.
Okay, so give us your words while I look up who number 11 is.
I say, you know, this year was about, yes, I've got a diagnosis of lipedema, and I do many things to try to combat the effects that it has on my life. But there are so many other things going on in our world. And I have family that is very ill, and we have really decided and worked hard towards just appreciating every moment you have, and don't let lipedema define you.
So true. Patty, you're so special. Oh, I got so wrapped up in that, I forgot to announce who won. So the winner is Lanique Lavelle. What a great name. Lanique Lavelle sounds like a movie star. Does anybody know Lanique Lavelle? Well, you're a winner of our prize pack, and we, my friends, my beloved friends, are out of time. And yet the good news is there's always next month. I want to thank all of you particularly. We've been through a lot. By the way, many of you have been asking about the contact information for these magnificent panelists. Everybody who registers will get a link to the edited final version of the roundtable, and we'll put their contact information in there so you can follow their websites, their blogs, their social media accounts. They are worth being followed. They're true lights in the community. And I just want to thank all of you for giving us an hour of your time, many months. Many of the names I see are familiar and they show up every month. And it's always so special for me personally. You know, we did a blog with you, Linda Ann Kahn, when passion meets a profession. And I can honestly say that for me, the same has been true. I found way more than a product that helps a condition. I found people that inspire me and that I truly love and that I'm honored to link arms with. So you know how we have to end it, ladies. Yep, lots of love. Thank you all for being with us, and we'll see you again next month. Here's to year 2. Bye, everybody.